Hey guys, Shadarek and my cats are here with a quick guide for Dinars in Season 3 of Within for Havoc Demon Hunter. Now, I'm not going to go into a bunch of stuff like Sims, but just give a quick, brief overview of what to go for. So, I do also have this up on Wowhead. The Wowhead gearing section does have a section here for Dinar spending. And the thing that I'm going to state first and foremost is higher item level wins for all trinkets, weapons, everything like that. There's nothing special enough that you want to run a heroic one instead of another mythic trinket, for example. The only case this isn't true is the boots. The boots are the #1 priority. So, boots are the highest priority for all content. The mythic boots are just going to be the best thing that you can run, and if you don't have mythic boots, you're going to be running heroic boots, which means they'll be 717 as well as 40% instead of 50% increased proc rate. That extra tier of 13 item levels on the boots and the proc effect going up is obviously pretty significant. So that's #1, and it's BIS for both Raid and Mythic Plus. As for the rest of your purchases, that depends on exactly what you're looking for. In terms of Raid, for Raid, single target, you typically want to browse for Felsguard. And then in Raid, Antenna is also typically acceptable. However, I don't think it's particularly good on the last couple bosses. So Sigil of the Cosmic Hunt is another good option. And for specifically Nexus King, you can also get an Unyielding Nether Prism. In Raid, though, there's nothing that's too important. I'd say if you don't have a mythic weapon at all, and you have the ability to buy a mythic weapon, whether it's from Mythic Plus or from Raid, pretty much any of the options do. Crit Mastery is going to be, the most obvious purchase, but you can't really go wrong with any of the weapons. So, boots first, mythic weapon if you don't have one, and from there, any mix of the trinkets depending on what you do need. I'd mentioned Antenna for Raid. I think it's fine to run. However, I don't think Antenna's that good. It seems very slightly ahead. I just put out a video very recently on why I don't recommend running Antenna or Nether Prism in Mythic Plus, and that's what I'm going to say going into my Mythic Plus suggestions. I wouldn't recommend running Antenna. There's a bunch of other options that fall into that same sort of category as your passive trinket option, and perform pretty similarly without you dealing with a minigame. Not thinking about an extra layer onto all your gameplay, just having that extra bit of mental load off, I think is pretty invaluable. So for 0.2% DPS, don't consider it. For that, you can run Arakara Sack Brood. Do not run Ticking Sack of Terror, but Arakara Sack Brood, Solea's Secret Technique, Empowering Crystal of Nubicage, and Improvise Sephorian Pacemaker all are fine trinkets to run in that passive slot. You could even run Incorporeal Warp Claw, but I think it's slightly worse. If I had to recommend picking one of them, the safest choice is probably Solea's. Arakara Sack Brood, I haven't played around with too much, but it can also be very good based on Sims. As for Nether Prism, as I mentioned in my other video, which I will have linked in the description down below, I don't recommend it for Mythic Plus. There's a lot of reasons why, so I don't want to get into it. If you know Nether Prism is the right choice for you, feel free to buy it. If you don't know that confidently for sure, I recommend running Cursed Stone Idol in Mythic Plus. If you're just someone that pugs, or you're not certain how to use Nether Prism too well, Stone Idol I think is better in a very large amount of situations. And it's as simple as press on cooldown and you're good to go. Cursed Stone Idol is incredibly good. So for Mythic Plus, I'd recommend Boots first, Stone Idol second, and then a passive trinket third, probably Arakara Sack Brood or Solea's Secret Technique. But really, any of those ones that you want to run do work. At that point, if you're just out of things to buy, you can get a Band of the Shattered Soul to mess around with. This is just a haste crit ring. It is a lot of haste, and you can see that I currently have one on. I did not Dinar this. This was just the only choice out of my vault this week. Cosmic damage is actually kind of interesting, where it's a mix of Holy, Arcane, Shadow, and Nature. So any 4 of those damage types are reduced. You get a lot of these procs throughout the course of a dungeon. I don't have one on hand here, but typically it adds about 40 to 50,000 HPS. A pretty non-zero amount, and the proc is about 7% of my health bar. Very high uptime, just kind of a nice bit of survivability. So I'm going to toy with playing this in Mythic Plus. In turn, I'm going to drop my haste elsewhere, probably going to swap my pants to drop some haste. And that's something you could toy around with as well if you just don't have another place to put your cartel chips. But outside of that, there isn't really much to do with them this season. The only special item is those boots. That's the only really, like, true best piece that you're going to use in all content. And outside of that, I don't really have any great recommendations. So, that's kind of the big takeaway. Boots, number 1 prio. For Mythic Plus, I probably recommend Stone Idol, Arakar, Sackbrood. And for Raid, you're going to want to Raz for Felsguard single target. Sigil of the Cosmic Hunt is... Oh, this is also one I forgot to mention. Sorry, Sigil of the Cosmic Hunt is also a great option for Mythic Plus. I think Sackbrood might be better, but Sigil of the Cosmic Hunt is pretty similar in overall damage, while it also does a good amount of prio specifically, because only 50% of the damage is actually split off, and it tends to perform pretty well. It's a good passive option. I have one with speed. It's what I've been running the whole season so far. I might swap to a Sackbrood at some point later, try it out and see what I like more, but the difference between them is very minimal, and all of those trinkets for your passives are incredibly close. Again, Sigil of the Cosmic Hunt, Arakara Sackbrood, Solea's Empowering Anubicage Crystal, Seaphorian Pacemaker. Very close, doesn't matter all too much. So, that's really about it on Dinar choice. This season, they didn't really add any good, very rare loot. It's just the boots, which feels a little weird, but... yeah. To me, it almost makes the cartel chips feel a little pointless this season. As for purchasing, you do need to kill the bosses on Mythic to get the Myth track, or you need to time a key on a plus 12 for the Myth track for dungeons. You don't need to time all the keys anymore, just the specific keys. Like, if you want Arakara Sackbrood, you only need an Arakara timed on a 12, which is a nice change coming into this season. And again, I recommend in all cases that you would use a mythic item over any of the heroic items. That includes, don't buy a heroic Stone Idol or a heroic Nether Prism so that you're using it on use. You can run double passive mythic trinkets. They're just not that good, and nothing is worth dropping the item level for except for the boots. The boots will be your best no matter what, and if you will never kill mythic soul hunters and you don't have the heroic boots, you can feel free to purchase those as well. That covers about everything for Dinar purchases. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to keep up to date with Havoc Demon Hunter, you can always leave a follow on my channel, and I appreciate a like and comments on the videos. Thanks, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.